Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of the weirdest pet fish you can own. Trust me, you won't believe some of these. We're talking about fish that look like they came straight out of a science fiction movie. Fish that could win an ugly cute contest, and fish that have some seriously strange superpowers. I've spent weeks researching, and let me tell you, the ocean is a wild place. So buckle up and get ready to meet the 7 weirdest fish you can actually keep in your home aquarium. Alright, let's kick things off with a fish that's so ugly it's almost cute. I'm talking about the blobfish, a deep sea dweller that looks like a grumpy old man who just lost his car keys. Seriously, Google it. This thing has a face only a mother could love. But here's the thing. The blobfish looks totally different in its natural habitat. You see, down in the deep ocean, the pressure is immense, like really intense. And the blobfish's gelatinous body is perfectly adapted to that environment. So when we bring them up to the surface, where the pressure is much lower, their bodies kind of blob out. It's like taking a marshmallow and putting it in a vacuum chamber. It's not their fault they look like that. So while the blobfish might not win any beauty contests, I think it deserves a bit of respect. Plus, who doesn't love an underdog? Next up, we've got a creature that looks like it wandered straight out of a fantasy novel, the axolotl. This little guy is like the Peter Pan of the amphibian world. It never grows up. Axolotls keep their gills their whole lives, which is pretty unusual for amphibians. They're also known for their incredible regenerative abilities. They can regrow limbs, tails, even parts of their hearts and brains. It's like something out of a superhero movie. Now, while axolotls are super cool to look at, they're also pretty delicate creatures. They need specific water conditions and a carefully controlled diet to thrive. So if you're thinking about getting one as a pet, make sure you do your research and are prepared to give them the care they need. Trust me, these little guys are worth it. Get ready for a fish that's all about that bump life, the flowerhorn cichlid. This fish is rocking a massive hump on its head called a nuchal hump, which can grow to be absolutely massive. It's like the fish equivalent of a bodybuilder flexing its muscles. Now, flowerhorn cichlids are a man-made species created through selective breeding of different cichlid species. And let me tell you, some people are really into these guys. There are entire online communities dedicated to breeding and showing off flowerhorn cichlids with the most impressive humps, colors, and patterns. It's like the Westminster dog show of the fish world. Okay, we're about to meet a fish that's a master of self-defense, the pufferfish. This little guy might look cute and cuddly, but don't let that fool you. When threatened, the pufferfish can inflate itself to several times its normal size, like a spiky aquatic balloon animal. It's a pretty effective defense mechanism. I mean, would you want to mess with a fish that looks like it could swallow you whole? But here's the thing about pufferfish. They're not just masters of defense, they're also surprisingly intelligent. They can recognize their owners, learn tricks, and even have distinct personalities. Some pufferfish are shy and reserved, while others are outgoing and playful. It's like having a little underwater dog. Just be careful though, because some species of pufferfish are highly poisonous. So if you're thinking about getting one as a pet, make sure you do your research and choose a species that's safe for home aquariums. Get ready to have your mind blown by the leafy sea dragon, a fish that's basically a piece of seaweed come to life. This incredible creature has evolved to perfectly mimic the kelp forests it calls home. It's covered in long, flowing appendages that look exactly like seaweed fronds. And if that wasn't enough, the leafy sea dragon can even change its color to match its surroundings. It's like something out of a Harry Potter movie. Now, leafy sea dragons are notoriously difficult to keep in captivity. They require a very specific environment and diet, and even then, they're very sensitive creatures. But for those lucky few who are able to provide the right care, owning a leafy sea dragon is like having a little piece of the ocean in your living room. Prepare to be amazed by the glass catfish, a fish that's so transparent you can practically see right through it. This fish is like the Houdini of the aquatic world. It's almost completely see-through with only its eyes, spine, and a few internal organs visible. It's like something out of a science fiction movie. Now you might be wondering how a fish can be transparent. Well, it all comes down to light refraction. You see, most fish have scales and pigments that reflect light, which is what gives them their color. But glass catfish have evolved to have very few scales and pigments, which means that light passes right through them. It's like they're wearing an invisibility cloak. Last but not least, we have the batfish, a fish that looks like it's ready to take flight. This bizarre creature has a flattened body and wing-like fins that it uses to walk along the ocean floor. It's like a cross between a fish and a bat, hence the name. Now, batfish aren't exactly known for their speed or agility. In fact, they're pretty clumsy swimmers, but what they lack in grace, they more than make up for in personality.